So, what would a best-case scenario for the U.S. economy actually look like in 2025? Today, we're not going to try and predict the future. Instead, we're breaking down one highly detailed and, frankly, very optimistic blueprint. Let's really dig into the specifics. A new golden age of American prosperity. This one phrase, right here, is basically the North Star for this entire economic plan. It's the big, ambitious goal that every single policy we're about to talk about is trying to achieve.
So the big question is, how does this blueprint actually propose getting us there? You know, our whole focus today is just on the mechanics of the plan itself. We're going to unpack the policies, the projections, everything straight from the source, and just leave the debate for another day.
Okay, this entire economic vision is really built on four core policy pillars. Let's think of them as the four legs of a stool, right? Everything else has to rest on their strength.
As you can see, the strategy is a real mix. It combines tax relief with a big push to reduce regulation, it aims to seriously lower energy costs, and it completely rethinks America's approach to trade. Each one is designed to work with the others. So, let's break them down, one by one. First up, extending the 2017 tax cuts. The core idea here is pretty straightforward. Just keep more money flowing inside the economy. This is meant to give businesses more capital to invest and, at the same time, give consumers more disposable income to spend. You get a boost from both sides. So what's the projected outcome of all this? Well, according to this model, it's not just about a 1 to 2% bump to GDP. What's maybe even more important is it points to a 3 to 4% rise in real wages. And that means more real purchasing power for the average family. The second pillar takes on what its proponents call red tape. I mean, this is a major push for deregulation, and it's all designed to make it cheaper, easier, and a whole lot faster for businesses to build, to innovate, and to expand.
And the potential impact on jobs here is, well, it's pretty significant. Proponents of this plan project that just by streamlining regulations, especially around things like land use permits, they could create somewhere between 500,000 and 1,000,000 new jobs in construction and manufacturing.
Okay. Pillar number 3 is all about energy abundance. This is a strategy to fully, and I mean fully, leverage America's domestic energy resources. And it has these twin goals: lower costs for all of us here at home and increase economic influence out on the global stage. The plan sets a really clear target, too. Boost domestic oil production by up to 3 million barrels per day. That is a massive surge that's intended to flood the market with new supply.
And what's the direct consequence of all that supply? A projected 10 to 20% drop in global oil prices, and that would create a powerful ripple effect across the entire economy.
And here is where it connects directly to your wallet. That drop in energy prices is projected to translate into annual savings of $500 to $1,000 for the average American household. The fourth and final pillar takes this two-pronged approach to trade. With allies, it's about using the threat of tariffs as a big negotiating chip. But with economic adversaries like China, the strategy calls for applying actual targeted tariffs. So, with those 4 pillars in place, where does this plan actually expect the growth to come from? The blueprint points to 2 very specific sectors, and they're envisioned as these powerful twin engines that will drive the whole economy forward. And here they are, the 2 engines, a massive boom in AI and tech innovation, paired with a major push for manufacturing and reindustrialization. It's a dual focus, right? One eye on the digital future and the other on the industrial backbone of the country. And listen, the envisioned AI boom is just enormous. The plan projects up to $1.5 trillion in infrastructure investment, 1 million new tech jobs, and a massive 20 to 30% surge in productivity. And for investors, that's projected to translate into a 12% climb for the S&P 500 in 2025 alone. Now, on the manufacturing side, the goal is to revitalize American industry. The plan would actually keep parts of existing initiatives like the CHIPS Act, but it would add deregulation to speed up factory construction. The projection is for 2 to 3 million new jobs over 4 years, targeted right at the industrial heartland. All right, we've seen the policies, we've seen the growth engines. Now let's get to the bottom line. How does all of this translate into those big economic numbers we're always hearing about on the news? This is really the key question, isn't it? If all these pillars and engines are firing on all cylinders, what does the economy actually look like, according to this best-case scenario? This scorecard is where it all comes together. Just look at the key shifts from the 2024 baseline. The projection shows stronger GDP growth and lower unemployment. But crucially, inflation is expected to hold steady or maybe even dip a little, while wage growth actually accelerates. I mean, that's a powerful combo for consumers. Even the deficit is projected to shrink as a percentage of GDP. It really paints a picture of broad-based improvement.
So, beyond just the annual numbers, what is the long-term vision here? It's framed as nothing less than a fundamental shift toward what the source material calls a legacy of abundance.
And this quote, this captures the ultimate, most optimistic endpoint of the whole plan. It's this futuristic vision, where technological leaps, especially in AI, are so profound that they could fundamentally change our economic realities, making prosperity the default state of being.
So, we've walked through a really detailed blueprint for a potential economic boom, complete with specific policies and some pretty ambitious projections. It's a clear vision. But as this final question suggests, the gap between a best-case scenario on paper and reality, well, that's where the real work begins. And that ultimately is the trillion-dollar question.